Welcome back to Santa's workshop, where my wife apparently wrapped a bunch of gifts, hit the camera and the microphone, and yeah.
Huh.
It was good, though. She does the wrapping, I don't, because if I do the wrapping, it looks like a small child just crinkled up some paper.
Yep, me too.
And she said it's embarrassing. I said, yeah, I don't disagree. That is not my trade.
Just to be clear to any women who may be watching this, all three of them, this is not a ploy that men do on purpose, although we do have many of those. We really are this retarded. It's just...
I can't rap. I can't rap lyrically or presence.
Mm-hmm. Or paper-wise.
Yeah. It's not happening. So.
Yep.
I published a little post today, Paul, this morning. It was Microsoft has a lot of code names. Do you ever know this?
Yeah, there's a cottage industry of people who are interested in such things. I understand.
and you're not wrong, as usual. So over the weekend, I got a bunch of tips about this stuff, and then it started to post late last night, and so then I just kind of just dropped it all. There's still a lot more out there, but effectively, Microsoft has a bunch of code names. We have Scarlet. Oh, before I even do that, Paul, I'm going to walk you through an image here that I put together. It's some of my best work. It might even outshine the pig, if you will.
I got to tell you a story about the pig, but go on.
Can you see my org chart here?
Is that a tapir over there on the left? Is that the right word?
Yes, but I am fascinated that you just pulled that out of the air. But so one of the code names, we'll start at the top here. So we have Xbox, which is the umbrella brand. On the what side is that? Well, on one side there's an umbrella that's red that is representative of the Scarlet family of devices that Microsoft is working on.
Very good. Yep. And
underneath that is the tapir, as Paul said it. But the code name that Microsoft uses is actually Danta, D-A-N-T-A. And I have no idea what that is, but that animal is the first thing that showed up when I Googled it. And so that's how it made it into this fancy chart. And then down below that, you have Anaconda, which is what they refer to as Scarlet Pro, which is going to be, think of it as the successor to the Xbox One X. And then there's this other thing called Lockhart, which is going to be the successor to the Xbox One S. Now, there's some trickiness to this because I'm not fully convinced that maybe both devices launch. I don't quite know yet. But anyways, the Xbox One S version is Lockhart. And then down below that, you have a server rack, which is just the Anaconda version of their cloud streaming platform. And then on the other side of my fancy chart here, you have the Xbox One S at the top. Down below that is Maverick. That is the diskless console. And then there's Anthem, which is the current Xbox One S variant of xCloud streaming platform.
You missed an opportunity there.
Did I?
For Maverick, you could have used the character from Top Gun. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yep. See, that's why you got to consult the outside world before you create these fancy graphics, because that would have been
good.
That would have been good. So anyways, so there's all this crap floating around. There's also Roma, which is the digital attached service coming with the diskless drive. Xbox early next year.
Not to be confused with the gypsy plague of Europe, the Roma.
Yep. And then the most interesting thing I think out of all this is there's another thing called Game Core OS. So you might be familiar with Windows Core OS. This is the gaming version of this platform, and think of it, it's technically, I believe, an evolution of UWP. So it's like a next gen UWP, but specifically designed for gaming. And it's also natively going to tie into Xbox Live services, I believe. And so the idea here is that, let's say a developer makes a PC game. It's supposed to be, and I'm glossing over this a bit, a couple checkboxes in Visual Studio, and then it runs on Xbox.
Interesting.
And so the whole idea between Game Core OS is, one, give developers better lower level access controls, so better performance with their games, but to also make it pretty easy to go between PC and Xbox.
I mean, yeah, Microsoft's been working on that kind of stuff for a long time, which is true of the one core stuff, really, when you think about it. I mean, Microsoft has been working to componentize Windows for a long time.
Yep.
All I wonder if this is a step toward a more heterogeneous Xbox, you know, where more and more hardware could become, what did you call it? Xbox One? No.
xCloud is what
gaming?
Microsoft calls it.
No, the gaming one thing is a gaming one or?
Oh, GameCore.
GameCore. You know, maybe GameCore becomes a standard that other device types could become compatible with, and that would open it up, that platform, to more devices, you know, over time.
Now, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of falls right into what Phil has said over time. He said he wants console gaming to become more like PC gaming, but not necessarily in keyboard and mouse, but more that you can just kind of go construct your own little worlds there.
Yeah, right. Like if you think about the modular thing they're doing with Surface Hub, and that you're saying that they're going to do with the next Surface Studio.
Yep.
It'd be cool if the Xbox could be made that way, so that if you wanted to upgrade to the next gen graphical capabilities or whatever, it would be like a module you could buy and replace. You know, like the benefit of the PC without the complexity, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. They could sell like pre-approved parts. You just buy it and swap it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's, so Paul, you'll appreciate this. So I don't know if this is a coincidence or trolling or whatnot. There's another code name in there, but this one's from I think last year at about this time. Microsoft used the code name for remember they had Xbox One controllers with the NFL logos on them? No. Anyways, they sold them. They sold them just
I'm sorry. Yeah, they had like one for each team, you mean? Like
exactly.
They had type covers.
Yeah, the same way. Yeah. Exact same thing. The code name for that was Cincinnati, which is known for its stellar flip.
Also for the last controller with the logo that sold out. Sorry, continue. Wait.
It hurts. Yeah. Well,
you were saying. Oh, that's what you were saying.
So that was really it. I mean, I just saw that was the code name, and I was like, really, guys? Like,
that's what you gave us?
Yes.
Boston was the code name for the first version of Visual Studio. And Emmaus is the code name for nothing.
Yes. Everyone's familiar with Emmaus. It's, yeah. So there's a lot going on in the Xbox world, but not really. I mean, kind of now it's just sit and wait and kind of see what Sony has up their sleeve. There was some stuff out about Sony too this week. Right. Apparently, like they showed off PS5 graphics to, I don't know, some people or something, and that leaked that they said they were amazing. And it's like, well, of course they're amazing. They're not going to go up there and show off like a rat that's dead. I mean, they're going to go off and show off a lion, right? That was a really weird analogy, by the way.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's... It's going to be a lot like this, folks, as the days go closer to Christmas.
Well, I have a tale of woe, Brad, and I think this is a tale you will appreciate. We have Philips Hue houses around Philips Hue lights around the house. In my living room, in front of me here, we have lights, like the light strip behind the TV. That's it's pretty much, well, no, it literally is on constantly. One of the lamps in there is Philips Hue. We've got two of those angled things you put on the floor and kind of aim up at the corner of the room. We've got two of the blooms, I think they're called. We've got two of those in the sunroom. And we have two other lamps in the house that are Philips Hue lights in them that are daughter's room. And we bought 4 colored Hue lights so we could put them in the eave under the garage and do like a green, red thing for Christmas and orange for Halloween and whatever.
Sure.
And as a Philips Hue owner yourself, you will recognize the major mistake I made, which was that my wife and I went out with a ladder. We unscrewed the 4 light bulbs that were out there. We screwed in the Philips Hue lights, and then I tried to connect them to the Philips Hue system. Because the garage is as far in my house horizontally as you can be from the hub and from the Wi-Fi. I can get Wi-Fi out there with my phone, no problem. Download web pages, whatever. I'm positive it works. The first time it came up, it only found 3 of them, not 4. You know, of course, they're in some weird order, and I have to go and rename them so they're in an order that makes sense. I can only get 1 or 2 of them to change colors. If I choose like I don't know what the word is, but they have like schemes like tropical. Tropical worked across all 4 of them, but there was a problem. And the problem is well, aside from the fact that I'm an idiot, is that they just updated Philips Hue, as you know, to support this power on thing.
Mm-hmm.
And of the lights in my house that are compatible with that new feature, all but one of them needed to be updated, including the 4 I just bought.
Yep.
So let's say 6 lights needed to be updated. Now, I don't know if anyone has ever tried what I just described, because Philips Hue is one of those things, like you kind of put it in, it works. If I want to change the colors of something, I bring up the app, I change them, it works fine. When you actually have to update these frickin' things, it sits there and doesn't do anything. It says it's downloading. It lists the lights that it will not. You can't say, I just do this one. You can't do that. Whatever's not updated has to be updated all at once. This ensures they will never be updated. So, because what happens is in the list of, in my case, 6 of these things, one of them would say not available, or whatever the term is, not responding or something. Then another one would say not responding. And then another one, and then that one would come back, and then this one would go and come back. I read all day Saturday. I ran and checked and watched and babysat this updating process that never completed, never completed. So I removed the new lights from Hue. I unplugged my daughter's. I won't get into. There was some complexity with her lamps. I'm not going to get into it, but I actually took hers off of the system as well. I updated the one light. It was the backlight, the strip in the back of the TV.
Yep.
And it took an hour. It took an hour. And it finally updated. Wow. Then I brought my daughter's lamp back online. It took an hour. It updated. And I brought the other light back online. And again, short story, it's short version. It actually didn't need to be updated. It doesn't matter why. So now what I've got is all the lights I had before these 4 lights updated and supposedly working with this feature, though, by the way, not the story I meant to tell. I have never gotten that power on thing to work. It's really? I've configured them to do it. None of them have ever come back to the color scheme I had previously chosen. None of them. But I'll save that for another day. Really, what I want to do right now is celebrate Christmas, Brad. So I told my wife, I said, look, this is how this is going to go. We're going to have to go and unplug every single one of those things. We're going to have to unscrew all of them, which is a pain in the ass. They're in like a tight little thing. They're hard to get. It's all, you cut your fingers when you do it. And we're going to bring them inside. And one by one, we're going to put them in a lamp. We're going to number them as we get them updated. We're going to update them. It'll take an hour maybe each. I don't know. And once they're all updated, we're going to have to put them up there in order, bring them back into the system, sign them to a room, try the colors. And she's like, I really don't want to do this right now. And I'm like, no, nobody does. So we didn't do it. But what I did do right now, this is still not complete. So I searched for the lights again. It found 2 of them. They're not updated, but I can change the colors. So what I have out there right now are 2 white lights, 1 red light, and 1 green light. And my house is a mockery of Christmas. Yeah, that's how I spent my weekend. I almost in tears over how terrible this is.
Why didn't you just move like a? Don't you have the Google whatever?
Yep, like move a Wi-Fi. See, I'm not 100% sure that the Wi-Fi strength is the problem because, like I said, I actually brought out 2 phones and made sure that I have a phone that doesn't have a SIM in it, and it was fine, you know, like that kind of thing. But you know, I honestly, I think the problem is having 4 of them at once. Originally 6. What I'm going to do is plug one in, bring it into the Hue system, update it, bring in the next one, you know, and just do them one at a time. And then I'm going to go put them out there.
You're like, you're like the 3 wise men, but you're just one partially wise man carrying 1 gift at a time into the house or into the manger. And then
tripping and falling into it, and you find out it's a cake. Like I think about like there's 4 lights and they're in some row, and you want to do something. You have to name them intelligently, and I'm just going to call them garage 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Because you want to be able to do that, you know, red, green thing, right?
Yep.
So, but they're named whatever they're called. Philips Hue, Color 1, whatever the name is. It doesn't matter. So you select the first one, And you're like, I'll just make this one red. And you look up, and the second one is red. You're like, okay, I got to remember 3 means 2.
I'm very familiar with this.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
what the... Like, it is
yep.
the worst.
It's
the worst.
Maybe it's just you.
See, and they're outside.
Yeah,
I don't know if you were outside over the weekend. It was cold. We're standing out there. I'm in like shorts and like a winter jacket, freezing my ass off. My wife has got her smaller fingers than I do, so she has to do this work, screwing it into the eave of the garage. She's bitching and moaning because it's cutting her fingers all over the place. And the freaking thing doesn't work. Yeah, so it was great. So Philips Hue, personal technology choice for 2018. Oh, boy.
You feel better now?
Boy.
You feel better now?
No, I don't, because it's still not fixed.
It's unfortunate, but
it's just
yeah. It hits home because mostly if we end up doing this addition or whatever construction, I was thinking the exact same thing. I want to get those lights mounted in the soffit pointing down, and I want to get Philips Hue lights. And I want to do the exact same thing you did, hopefully with a little less frustration.
I strongly recommend getting them on your system in the house first, just based on my experience. Mm-hmm. Also, you might want to go to the additional expense of putting a whatever you're using, like your version of a Google Wi-Fi node out in the garage, because you never know when you need Wi-Fi out when you're not in the car but not going anywhere. I don't know.
IoT, it's great right up until it's not, which is most of the time.
Yeah, so we still have to we're going to take them all out at some point.
You should live stream it. I'd like to watch this, just sipping hot
what I'll
cocoa.
do, yeah, like do it in, and then speed it up and put the music to Benny Hill on.
Mm-hmm.
As we go like, what? The ladder goes up and down, up and down.
There's going to be multiple, like you just looking at the light bulbs, just
like looking up at the sky, looking at the app, looking at the sky. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Well, your misery is my whatever.
It's is your energy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a great holiday. It seems it's gonna be. Actually,
we skip lunch today.
We went to a kids play this Friday night. Yeah, no, Saturday night. I don't recommend it. It was pretty bad. The whole premise was that Santa Claus was retiring and they were hiring a new Santa Claus, and if you're in Cincinnati and you're thinking about going to see that, I don't recommend it. They had one last year that was pretty good, but this one was
not a holiday classic.
No, it was. It would. I don't know. It feels like they use Skype to do their casting. I guess that would be the benchmark.
He looks great on the live stream. I don't know.
All right. You got anything else for this train wreck?
No. No. Technology has failed me again.
Yeah, it won't be the last time. Well, that wraps it up for today, folks. It's gonna be one of those weeks. If you got any suggestions about what we should do with our lives for the next 10 days or so, we're all ears. Otherwise, have yourselves a good Monday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.